Hello, my friends. Welcome to Breakfast with Sergio. This is episode number 101. And if you missed the previous episode, go check it out. In episode 100, I talk about the 5 lessons I've learned in 100 episodes of Breakfast with Sergio. But today, I'm going to talk about decision making, how to make decisions, big decisions for your art career. But before I do that, I normally share my breakfast. Well, I'm not gonna do that today because I'm running late. I haven't made breakfast yet. However, I wanna show you this awesome coffee mug that a friend of mine, Robert, gave it to me this week. It is awesome. For one, it is giant. It is really huge. Fits a lot of drink, whether it's coffee or tea, whatever you're drinking. But what I love about it, it comes with a little tiny spoon. And there's a little hole here on the handle where you can take your spoon and you can, put your sugar or whatever you're gonna put on your drink, and then you can put it back in the handle. Super awesome. Do you guys like it? It is super cool. I love it. Great coffee mug. Woohoo! Not exactly quite replace Breakfast with Sergio official coffee mug, but it's a good one, and I'll use it once in a while. So I'm gonna start using it more often. Very awesome. Very cool. Well, my friend, let's talk about big decisions, because a lot of times, we have to make big decisions as artists, and actually as human beings, we're always making decisions. Every day we make decisions. And as I get older, I also think about, the nuances of decision making, right? When you're younger, sometimes you make a lot of decisions based on, the quick moment, and you make the decision, and sometimes you make great decisions, sometimes you make really bad ones. So as I get older, you start thinking about, okay, what is the dynamic of decision making? And particularly for us as artists, a lot of times there are big decisions that, will have a huge impact in our art career. Things like, for example, should I go and pursue a career, like a college degree? Should I get an MFA? Should I have a studio outside my house, or should I have it in my home? Should I make large work? Should I make small work? There are all these big decisions that we are constantly making. And particularly for the big decisions, I have now come to understand kind of a framework for decision making that I would love to share with you. This is something that you are going through right now in your art career, decision making, right? So there are three parallels that I want to talk about today really fast. Three parallel lines, if you wish, that you can use as a framework for decision making. The first one, the first parallel, the first line, I'm using my left hand for that. It will be the parallel of the logic. What's the logic of that decision? Does that make sense for me right now? What's the logic? For example, let's think about the idea of maybe you need to make a decision if you're going to rent out a space, a studio space outside of your home. That's a big decision, right? That's a big decision because it affects many things of your art career, your time. Now it means if you're gonna have a studio outside your home, you gotta drive to it. You gotta pay rent. It's gonna take you more time to get there. You have to get maybe some furniture organized. So there are many implications about that. So you gotta think about what's the logic of that, right? What's the logic? Does it make sense for me right now to have a studio away from home versus at home, right? Using that example, will I actually be more productive, having the studio at away from home versus having it at home? Or not, maybe it could be that it sounds great to have a studio away from your home. It will look great in the selfies, in the Instagram posts. However, you will not be as productive as if you have it at home, right? Because now you have to take time to go there, to come back, or sometimes you might not feel like driving all the way, whatever it is, or the expense of it. So you gotta think about, what is the logic of that decision? So that's one parallel, right? What's the logic of it? Does it make sense right now? How will the logic also affect everything that's around it, right? Finances, relationships, work, and so on, productivity, and organization, right? That's the logic. Then you have the other parallel, which comes from the heart, right? It's the one in the middle, is how you feel about it, right? What is the feeling that you have towards that decision? How do you feel about it? Will this decision make me feel happier, or will not, or will make me feel more miserable? How is that going to happen? With saying yes or no to that decision, is that going to make you feel happier, or is going to make you feel miserable? A lot of times a decision where maybe there's more money involved, but sometimes that includes that you're not going to feel happy. Money is not always make things happier in life, and I think we all have experienced that. So you have to think about when you're making a decision, you know, how is that gonna make me feel? Or also as you make the decision, whether it's a decision that you're doing now or something later, what are you gonna do in the meantime so that you still can stay happy while you know, take that decision in whichever direction you wanna take it. So that's the second parallel. So the first parallel is the here and now, the logic. The middle parallel is the feeling, right? How do I feel about this decision? And then the third parallel, which is, I'm using my right hand, which is the long term. What is the long-term effect of the decision? What is the long-term effect of that? There are a lot of things that maybe in the short term here on the left-hand side does not make a lot of sense if you do it right now. But then if you look at also the parallel of the long term, you'll realize, well, maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now, but in the long term, it's gonna make total sense. It's gonna make a huge difference, right? And that is really important because a lot of times we take into consideration the here and now. However, we don't think about the long-term approach. And as I get older, it's one of the things that I've been learning more about decision making is the long-term effect. You know, this is the idea of patience, right? Having patience to get to where you want to be. A lot of times we want things faster, we want them now, we want them here. However, the patience, sometimes if you wait a little, sometimes if you plan ahead, if you prepare for it, the long-term effect is much greater than, you know, the quick end result that you might get now, but it's not gonna lead that far in advance. So if that's you, my friend, if you are thinking right now about decision making, which is something I've been thinking about recently because I have some big decisions to make in my art career right now. So I'm looking at those three parallels and thinking about, you know, the logic of the decision right now at the moment, the implications of that at the moment, the hard one, right, the middle parallel, how do I feel about it? You know, how's it gonna make me feel to go either way, or what can I do so that if whatever decision I make I'm still going to be happy with as well. And then the long-term parallel, right? The long-term parallel. How is this decision going to implicate in the long term? What are the implications of the decision long-term coming? So, my friend, I hope this is helpful for you, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Breakfast with Sergio. Please share it with your friends. That's something that's always makes me so happy when I see the click share button. And if you want to get more resources for your art career, just go visit my website at www.theartistnextlevel.com. You can download the Artist Survival Kit, also with organization and productivity tools for your art career, totally free. And my friend, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of Breakfast with Sergio. Goodbye.